Hello and welcome back to my garden. Today we're back to bulb planting, but we're not planting bulbs out in the flower garden nor in front of the house. No, today we're going to plant bulbs here in the orchard. Let me show you. Some of you may have remembered this space from earlier in the season when I did a video about trying to make sort of a meadow here or come up with something similar as to what I had around another apple tree, which was a lot of verbena, foxglove. It's a whole nother story. You can go back and watch those videos if you want. But what I did here was I put down a bunch of compost and I think some chicken and or cow manure to help improve and enrich the soil. And then I put down just a thin layer of pine bark after I put down cardboard, and the cardboard was to smother the grasses and the weeds. And as you can see, I have grasses and weeds coming up. Some apparently of this is morning glory. Who knew? I don't know where that came from. And here's a dewberry. I think that's what that's called. It's a nasty little vine. It's horrible. And then I have, of course, grasses. But I'm not concerned about keeping this space clean or pristine. In fact, I don't mind if grass is growing a little bit from the edge. I'll eventually wind up mowing it. And I know grasses are eventually going to grow up all around here, and that's fine too. What I'm going to do today is plant up some bulbs, and I have two in mind. And what I'm hoping for is that come the springtime, I get a really nice display all the way out here in the orchard where it's otherwise just colorless. It's just green. So it's just to give a little bit of color. So what I'm going to plant up as I pull some more weeds is Sapphire Beauty Dutch Iris. Okay. I've got a lot of Dutch irises this year because I had some in the rose garden. My wife really liked them, so we wound up buying more Dutch irises. They're very nice. They do well in this climate and environment. And Dutch Master Daffodils. It's a bag of 50. I'm not going to plant all 50, but I will plant a few. So what I'm going to do is first try to get rid of some of this grass. And we're not going to plant up against the tree. Not going to do that. I'm going to put a clump. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do probably a couple of clumps. So I'll do a clump right here this is going to be Dutch Master. So also some of you may have noticed that this space is slightly raised because I did plant the apple tree here on a slight mound because we get heavy rains at various times of year. So if I plant the tree a little high or a little proud, then water sheds off, moves away from the tree, and hopefully the roots underneath, not all of them are drowning in water, and hopefully, again, with me improving the soil around the area over time, it'll allow for better drainage. So if we do get a really, really, really crazy heavy rain like we sometimes do, this tree isn't going to drown. You ever reach into a bag and get a rotten bulb? It happens. But then you're made up with two. All right, so there's a clump of 5. And I'm going to throw a label to remind me of where that is. And I think over here, I'm going to do the other clump. So let's do a couple here. There we go. Cover that back up. And because this is an experiment, I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm going to save the rest of my bulbs to be used someplace else. What I am going to do though now is plant up. Now let's see, we got a bag of 20. So I'll do, I don't know. Let's dig a hole and see how many bulbs I can fit in the hole. Seven makes a nice little drift. Okay, there's that one. So a little drift here, and let's do one on the other side. Nice little hole. What do you get with a handful? 4, 5. You know what? I'm going to get crazy on this side. We're going to dump them all in. And there we go. Maybe in the springtime, I'll come back and plant some verbena in this space if it doesn't naturally come up anyways. And of course, water. I planted up the Dutch Iris, and they should get to about yay tall. The Dutch Master Daffodils are shorter, but both of these should give some early spring color to the space. And as I just mentioned a second ago, maybe I'll come back out, or hopefully I'll come back out in the springtime and maybe plant up some verbena out in this space. And I think that will give some color and height during the springtime. Who knows, maybe a few other plants. I don't know. I'm, again, not going to try to keep this space weeded or anything. This was sort of an experiment. See what happens, see what grows, what doesn't grow. If you haven't subscribed, Sophie here would much appreciate if you subscribe, because I have yet more bulbs to plant, but we're not going to plant them today. There's stuff to be planted out in the vegetable garden. There's cleanup to do all over this garden. And I will bring you guys along for some of that. And there's probably a couple of projects squeezed in there someplace too, as I do my fall 30-day Blitz video every single day from now until, I don't know, I think, what are we up to, day 18? So I've only got, what's that, 22 days roughly? 22 days, 10, 12 days? 12 days. 12. Somebody do the math for me and leave those comments below. That's going to wrap it up for today. Sophie here wants to go play with something, maybe a butterfly or something. We're going to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.